Minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, of course, we have Chris Spear and Dr. Craig Walker. Dr.
Just
Walker.
call me Walker.
I know.
Walker's great.
I'm used to calling him Dr. Walker here. Joining us from the Eastern New Mexico State Fair. Wearing those hats this morning. Good morning, gentlemen. How y'all doing?
Doing great. Thanks for having us.
Anytime. Love. It's a great time of year, the fair, and it's fun because, especially after the last few years, it's nice to just have a normal fair.
Yeah,
normal.
Absolutely.
It's the 100th, so it's not normal because it's a special one, but normal in the fact that it looks like a fair, smells like a fair, walks like
Absolutely.
a fair, talks like a fair.
You bet.
So,
we spent a lot of time not having that, so we're certainly glad. Last year was the first year back, and we look for this one to be even bigger and better.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun week. And actually, the fair's so big that it's going to start before the official start of the fair. I want to remind folks that Friday and Saturday, they're going to have the Carnival going on out there. They're going to have the first livestock shows are actually Saturday, I believe.
Friday and Saturday.
Friday and Saturday. So there is some on Friday as well, too. But even though the parade is on Monday, which is the official start of the fair, that'll be Monday morning. But this Friday is actually the start of the fair. So if you want to get your rides on and come out and support the kids for these early livestock shows, this weekend's start making plans.
And the livestock shows this weekend is actually an open event.
Okay.
It's actually, there will be kids showing.
Okay.
But it is.
Is it like run what you brung in the car racing world here? Is it
kind of the same?
It's actually open to the world. I think we've got some exhibitors coming in from Pennsylvania, Colorado, Waco, Texas area, up the road in Hondo. So I think that they had thought that there'd be anywhere from 125 to 150 entries for the Texas Longhorn Show that's going to be happening Friday and Saturday.
Oh, cool. Well, that's a cool one to watch. The Longhorns always draw a crowd because they're unique in the way they look, and they look like those. It's like, why do their horns so big? I don't feel like it works well with those animals, but
it works out for them. They know exactly where that tip is up there, I promise you.
It's just like, man, that looks awkward.
Yeah, exactly.
How do they sleep? No,
yes, right.
Well, they on a tilt.
Yeah. But they're great at hanging coats.
That's right. That's exactly right.
But they are a cool animal to kind of see and work, and those are fun because the bigger the animal and the smaller the kid is just fun to watch, because you'd think the kid's overwhelmed, but he's not, or she's not. No. They take care of business. But it's just funny to see a kid that's like barely 3 feet tall, working an 800-pound animal.
800. Those steers will be 1,500 pounds.
1,500. So I'm lowballing it.
It is impressive. But it goes to show what kind of effort those kids and parents and 4-H and FFA leaders put into that whole process. You just don't walk in there with one and hand it off to a 9-year-old kid.
Sure.
So there's a lot that goes into it. So the more support we get for those kids, the better off we are.
And we got a chance to talk to some other board members yesterday, and it really is. This is why I love the livestock shows and everything, because it's such the fabric of the community. It is the heart and soul of this community.
Absolutely.
The values which Southeast New Mexico, live by, the things that we do here. It really, it all is the heart of it is livestock shows at the fairs. These kids learning the way of life of farming and ranching, and how that vital that role is, and they do it by this kind of way. And these kids that are manhandling 1,500-pound bulls are going to be the ones running the farm and ranch, running the fair board, running
running your country,
your country.
Yeah,
exactly.
It just builds on itself, and it's a unique program.
Yeah, and that's why I love it so much, because it's you're seeing the foundation being built for great things.
Absolutely,
and that's why the fair is so awesome, and particularly the livestock shows, and not just livestock, but the sewing, the arts and crafts, the pumpkin growing, all of it is part of it.
Yep,
so
it is.
So please support it. Come out and be a part. It's definitely, I know we talked more about the junior livestock sale yesterday, but that Saturday morning is going to be a busy day for everybody. So please come out and support that. Come watch, because it's fun to watch too. Because your head spins sometimes. You're like, how much money did they pay for that? Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Absolutely.
And
it's perfect.
It's fun to do. So please come. And I said this yesterday. You don't have to know a thing about farming and ranching to enjoy livestock shows. It's just fun. I grew up in Maryland. I was a city boy. I've been in New Mexico a long time, but I'll just get there and I don't know a dang thing what they're looking at. I'm like, why does he keep staring at that pig's leg? I don't get it, but okay.
Well, and I'll let Chris talk about it, but it's going to be really fun for the Longhorn Show. I mean, not only are they going to be showing cattle live on the halter, they're going to show them off halter, and they're actually going to have a what they call it, trophy steer.
Yeah, they're supposed to have trophy steer show and performance steer show.
Okay,
they ride them.
So this is kind of a Super Bowl of Longhorns type events here,
right? And in the International Longhorn Breeders Association, they have all kinds of events. So we're actually going to have miniature Longhorns. Tiny Tim is supposed to be making.
How big is a miniature Longhorn?
So Tiny Tim weighs 125 pounds. I have not seen what his horn spread is yet, but he is a very popular critter at 2 years old. Everywhere he goes.
Is that pet size or is that still a little too big?
I mean, that's one like that I would work Doberman. On. It's one, yeah, exactly.
Or a Great Dane or something.
And then you can get some of them 7-8-year-old trophy steers or performance steers in there that have potentially up to an 8-foot horn spread that weigh 1,800 pounds.
Wow.
And,
they're beautiful to look at.
Oh, they're gorgeous. And that's what's neat about the Longhorns is they serve a dual purpose. Not only are they a meat animal potentially at the end of the day, but they're also an ornamental animal. So you see the hides and the horns that get hung up and things like that. So, I mean, they're kind of a dual purpose.
Are Longhorns used for any kind of hauling or anything, or is it strictly, I mean, did they get ox-type duties?
They used to. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Well, think about the Chisholm Trail when you're talking about what it means to this area. I mean, that Chisholm Trail was loaded with Longhorn cattle.
Gotcha. I didn't know if that was part of the role of Longhorns, too, as well. Because they kind of have that, they're built short and squatty, like
you bet.
They're meant to pull stuff.
Right. and you look at all the old pictures of back in the days, and that's what a lot of people ran were Longhorn cattle. I mean, they're kind of the original, and they're, they came up out of Mexico, and they were brought over with Christopher Columbus and stuff like that. So, I mean, there's a lot of history that goes back into the Longhorn Association and the breed itself.
Sure. How much, now I'm curious, like in the judging side, how much of the horns judged in that? Is that a big part of it, or is that a minor part of the judging?
It all depends on that man's opinion on that given day. I mean, obviously those animals have to be able to travel the countryside. They've got to be able to move. So structure's going to be, how they move, kind of like the feet and legs when you were talking about the pigs just a minute ago.
Sure.
How can they travel the terrain? But there is a huge, in my opinion, probably a big ornamental factor to what that hide and horn potentially brings at the end of the day.
Gotcha.
As to the
I didn't know if that was like the trophy or if that's just a small sliver in the.
I think important. It's, and I haven't ever showed Longhorns ever before, but I'm assuming that that's a pretty
because I mean that's the first thing you notice when you look at a Longhorn. You're like, that's a Longhorn because it's got 8-foot long horns on the side.
That is correct.
So that's kind of its signature thing.
Yes.
So I didn't know how much of that was like the thing, or because I know there's so much more that they're looking at than how healthy the animal is, what the muscle structure, the bone structure, all of that's relevant to it. But I didn't know if there was more weight. Well, beautiful structure, but them horns are kind of tiny. So
there is that.
It does play into that factor as to how they place for sure.
Gotcha. Or they don't point quite the same,
That's right.
Exactly. But, that one won't look good on the front of my Boss Hog car.
Yes, exactly.
That's exactly right.
By the way, more people should bring those back, by the way. I love that look. But support the fair. Support these kids. Support the people that come out and do this. And what time is the Livestock Show? The Longhorn Show.
So the Longhorn Show on Friday is going to start at 10 o'clock. It's going to be in the normal show arena there behind the fair office. Okay. The show on Saturday is going to be a non-haltered show, so they actually kick them loose in the rodeo arena.
Okay,
and they'll judge them there.
Crosby Arena
at the Bob Crosby Arena on Saturday at 10 o'clock.
So if you come out strictly for it on Friday, you can park in the regular parking, but for Saturday, you might want to park closer to the rodeo arena.
Correct.
Unless you don't mind walking.
You can park in both places.
Yeah, you'll get there either way, but if you're like, I only got so many steps, I'm going to use them all here. Park by the rodeo. But
come out. It's going to be a fun show. So
it's going to be fun. Cool. Come on out and then check out the shows. And then when you're hungry and ready to do the carnival will be open. Now, all the food booths won't be fully open until Monday.
That's correct.
The local ones, some of your local favorites and stuff, they'll be there Monday. But with the carnival being available Friday and Saturday, they have their own food vendors that are, so if you want to get your corn dogs and chicken on a stick and things like that, that'll have all of that. But if you're looking for your more local flair, you're gonna have to wait till Monday.
That's correct.
So.
And I don't believe there's any charge to get into the fair on Friday or Saturday.
Yeah, just
if they go to the
cost of
Carnival.
rides or whatever. You know, you buy your food and that kind of thing. So no admission, everything else. And Sunday, everything's kind of closing down while they get ready for Monday.
Sunday's the closing or the calming before the storm when all the junior livestock start moving
rally,
in.
regroup, and getting everything set up, and because that's when all the kids will start coming in and getting their spots for the week and things like that.
Correct.
It's a lot of moving parts that day.
Yes.
So it's even though it's not the public part, it's probably equally busy at the fairgrounds on Sundays it is Monday.
That's right.
And then don't forget, Fair Parade gets underway Monday. I believe 10 a.m. Just like years past, it'll start 10 a.m. They come out of the Wool Bowl
come out of
college, and then so if you get on Main Street between College and I always say the old Sears, but that don't work now. The Ashley Home Store. That's anywhere on Main Street. That's your best spot now. If there's performances, things like that, they're going to do that in front of the judges who are always parked there on the Chaves County Courthouse lawn. So if you're wanting to see kind of any main event stuff, the closer to the courthouse lawn, the better. But everyone else has that same idea. So if you like a little elbow room, maybe spread farther north or south.
That's correct.
And they start closing Main Street down about 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, they do it early. So if you've got early affairs to get to work to and stuff, be aware that you may have to take a different path depending if you go downtown. But and then as soon as that's over, book it to the fairgrounds because it's game on out at the Eastern New Mexico State Fair. Opening the livestock shows, everything. The carnival will start that night, and just everything will go from there.
Correct.
As always, your best resource for anything related to the Eastern New Mexico State Fair is the fair book and the website. It's really easy to remember. It's the initials for the Eastern New Mexico State Fair, www.enmsf.com. Go there, and if you want to get the fair book, there's tabs at the top. If you hit the one that says participate, and then there's one that says fair book, and I think this talks about admissions or something. There's a couple different things, but if you want the one that says fair book, you click that, and then the entire fair book. If you're entering in any of the competitions, I know like the food stuff's going to be turned in this weekend. Some of the sewing was turned in last weekend, but if you still got time to sign up for that, of course, if you are participating in any other livestock shows or any of that stuff, all your rules, all of your information's right there.
And Facebook is also a good resource on the Eastern New Mexico State Fair.
The week of the fair, that's going to be your best friend.
Yeah.
Because anytime there's changes to the fair, and there's going to be, weather just doesn't want, something happens, someone's busted and make it in, so they got to move back something, or a rain happened, and anytime there's those changes in events or moving of event, they always put it to the Eastern New Mexico State Fair Facebook page first.
Correct.
So, and I ain't gonna lie, when people like me are looking for that, that's where we go. So if you want to know first, just like and follow that, and that way you can stay up to date. And then, of course, if you have questions or, if you're like, well, what's going on at the fair today? Just go to that page, and they usually tell you, oh, don't forget today so-and-so's in concert or this event, or it's senior day or something like that. So it's the best way to kind of just stay up to date on what's going on all next week at the fair here. So
that is right.
Come see the Longhorns. I think I'm telling you, if you know nothing about farming and livestock and ranching, come out just to see it because it's visually cool because, like you said, Longhorns are just cool to look at. They got big, giant horns, and they're short and squatty and size of Montana.
Yeah.
It's probably equally as fun to watch them try to load them and unload them out of the trailers.
I would imagine, And then I'm sure if any of them are having a bad day or something or just in an ornery mood, then it's a nightmare to get them to do something.
It gets interesting. There's no doubt.
But then these kids, they it's the life. They know it and they do it, and it's impressive to watch.
It is.
I gain so much respect for these kids after the week at the fair because you just see the hard work you see, and that's why the junior livestock, again, putting in a plug for that on Saturday, that is because it's the fruit of their labor. These kids have busted their hump, some for years, some this is the first year.
Well, and in this set of projects here that'll be showing this year, they've started those basically
almost a year ago.
Yeah. Right at the conclusion of last year's
things
fair.
like that. Those the bigger animals, they got them like right after the fair.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Steers and heifers, they're being purchased now for the 2023 shows.
Matter of fact, the Longhorn kids are probably now looking at their ones for next year. The ones that are participating in the Longhorn.
Absolutely,
so.
It's not just show up and it's a week worth of the kids doing their stuff. This has been a year-long process for the majority of them, and it is impressive, and come support them. That's
it's
a big
fun
thing.
too. That's just it. It's so like you wouldn't think sitting in a room watching a bunch of people walk around with animals would be exciting, but it's fun.
Yeah.
It's so much fun to watch because they're kids, and then you put kids in anything, there's entertainment.
Yep.
It's just like if you want to laugh, and I'm not trying to do this to make because it's just fun to watch. Watch Swine Day.
Oh yeah.
Watch Swine Day when all these kids are with their little boards trying to navigate pigs that may or may not want to go in the direction you're wanting to put
That's
them in.
right.
And it's controlled chaos, and it's a hoot to watch when you're not. It's almost like watching like a Three Stooges show where you're not wrapped up. You're just sitting from afar and watching the people. You're like, oh man, this ain't going to end well. And it's a little like that too with these kids and stuff. I mean, everything's safe.
It sure can be.
It's just chaos. And watching kids who have youth and energy run around trying to, it's. You ever seen Rocky? How funny is it watching Rocky chase a chicken around in a it's that, but with pigs and little kids.
Yeah.
It's just fun.
Yeah.
And by the way, these kids, then you see them the next year and they're a little bit more mature and they handle that pig a little bit better. And it's just, it's fun to watch that growth, fun to watch these kids learning to their ways to being adults. And that's at the end of the day, that's what the fair is all about. That's what it is.
Raising kids with livestock is what we do.
Absolutely. So come go to the Eastern Mexico State Fair website, check, download the fair book, get the list of entertainment. They got some great entertainment again this year. And again, don't forget all the concerts. I know we come out for the fair food and the rides and the concerts, and hopefully you get to see the Livestock Show or the education building and all that. But come out for these things. Of course, the concerts, all of those concerts are free with your admission into the fair. You paid to get in the fair. The concert's already there for you.
Correct.
So you get to go see it. So on those nights for the concerts, again, go to the fair website. You'll see every night's entertainment and some of the daily entertainment stuff that's going to be going on out there all the time. Stuff for the kids.
Visit the commercial building with the local businesses that set up
Absolutely.
out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Make sure you support those guys too.
Yeah, that building,
everything local.
Yeah, and of course that building is popular when it gets hot. And you're like, all right, let's go in the commercial building, cool off a little bit, or the education building is another great one. That's my favorite building in the place.
And who doesn't like to watch the trains?
The trains, and I hear tell they're looking for new members.
Yes,
like some of them are getting a little long in the tooth, and they need the young blood to kind of take over the train.
It's like everything.
Yeah, it's like everything else in life. So if you're really into the model railroad, and talk to those folks. They're out there all year long. They're you just see them during this week at the fair, but they're there pretty much every weekend, building and constructing and creating and tinkering and trying to go bigger, faster, stronger. Yep. And that's right. And they need some new people to do that. Matter of fact, I think my boss is going to be because he's kind of into that. And because we have a couple of the trains, like cars of all of our radio stations are in there, and his father-in-law was a train guy and all that, so they kind of, it's a special place in their heart. But I think they got him to do some conducting during the week. He's going to go in there and run the trains for a little bit and stuff. So it's all part of the fair.
Yep.
It's just I like the pumpkin thing because I love you got a group of farmers, ranchers, people. There's stalwarts in our community, and they've been basically talking smack to each other growing pumpkins for a long time.
All the time. Every year, that's the best part about it.
And that's my favorite part. I love to come and see, all right, who won the bragging rights this year?
And what did they name them? I guess the names are always kind of funny, too.
Yeah. And it's just it, because they're big gelatinous messes.
That's right.
It looks like, they all look like pumpkins that melted.
Yes.
Yep.
They're
exactly
so
right.
big in size that the structure can't hold its weight anymore. So it's just this goo of pumpkin. And it's just cool.
Goo. That's perfect.
It's just cool. I love it. I love
all the oversized vegetables that are in the display there, too.
It's always fun. Cool. Yeah, it's just so many cool things to see.
Lots of great things out there. Come out and see it.
I'm curious. We're out of time, but I'm curious. Whatever happens, do they make a bunch of pies out of those pumpkins, or do they like chuck them, or what?
No, actually, it's like that. They feed them. I mean, they can be fed to cattle and whatever.
Okay, I didn't know if they fed them.
But usually, what they'll do is those guys that are participating in that actually split up the seeds out of the champions, and then they hand them out to their buddies
for next year.
For the next year,
so you can grow your own giant pumpkin.
Mm-hmm. So I'm sure there's some of that.
Because there's so many different things you'd want. Like, all right, let's help and feed some people, but
Well,
can we drop one of these off a crane or something?
Yeah, exactly. Just for fun.
That could be kind of fun. Maybe we ought to have the pumpkin drop.
Yeah, just for fun.
I think we should do that one year. Maybe the grand champion. We're going to drop it from a crane.
But I'm not sure those giant pumpkins are necessarily the edible variety that you would make pumpkin pies.
Yeah,
and
probably
stuff
not the
out
best
with.
pies
That's
and
right.
things for them. You know, sometimes bigger isn't always tastier.
That is correct. That is correct.
Again, if anybody has any questions, want more information, go to the website, Eastern Mexico State Fair's website, enmsf.com. Like and follow the Eastern New Mexico State Fair Facebook page. It's going to be your friend next week, trust me.
Correct.
And come out this weekend. Don't have to wait till Monday for the parade to come and participate in the fair. Come on out Friday night. After you get off work and school, head on out to the fairgrounds and, have dinner out there, and then come check out the livestock shows. Come check out the Longhorns, and then spin around on a merry-go-wheel or a Ferris wheel or something.
Absolutely.
And have some good time out there.
Have fun.
Good deal. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Mike.
for hanging out a little
Thanks for
bit.
having
I
us.
appreciate
You bet. Not a problem.
You working with us on that.
Not a problem.
And we'll see you all in the fair, and hopefully I don't have to see you too soon.
I understand.
My cats are good, so
I understand.
we're good now. So.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you guys.
Love it.
Anytime. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.